Hey guys, sorry it's been so long since I've done one of these videos, but I am here to check out this new meta for T1. I hear it's really exciting, and let's see how it goes. Alright guys, I hope you all like it, and if you want to subscribe, please do so, and let's get this show on the road. So first we got a Cincino lead, Dark Venom. I know he's going to Bullet Seed, so I switched to Metagross, and yes, this is a post recording, so it's kind of like a reaction, so no, I'm not playing this as it goes. So anyway, beyond that, so Cincino doesn't really have anything that can hit Metagross, so it was an obvious switch. Now I'm leery of his Escavalier and his Crobat, because as you can see with my moveset, with me being banded, it's kind of a challenge to figure out what's going to happen there. Anyway, so he goes Flygon. I was guessing Escavalier. It didn't work out. So I immediately switched to, I think I go Toad here, because he's going to U-turn. I thought he might Earthquake, but U-turn's a possibility, so I take the safe bet with Toad, and he U-turn, which is cool. So then he's going to switch to Cincino. I'm going to switch back to Metagross, so it's kind of a back and forth thing, which happens quite a bit with me. So anyway, he's going to Tail Slap, which will do more damage because of the stab. But it's still not too bad, but you don't want to have to keep doing that, because eventually Metagross will lose. So this time I pick Meteor Mash, but this time he goes Toad. Go figure. I guess it could have been worse with this Cavalier, but well, maybe not. Anyway, so in light of that, I believe I switched to Swallow. Let's see. I go Swallow. So I think I get Scalded. I was hoping for an Earthquake. I actually know he Drain Punches for some reason. Don't understand that, but so I'm thinking about that Escavalier again, but I go ahead and Boom Burst. There's the Escavalier, so it tanks Boom Burst. Then I switch to Tenta, I believe, and I Scald it a couple of times hoping to get a burn. It doesn't work out that way, and then after I Scald it, he Sword Dances, which isn't that concerning. I mean, Escavalier is not that big of a threat. But after this, I believe I switch to he kills Tenta. I believe I switched to what was it? Heracross. I switched to Heracross, hoping I can finish it off, but I would have gone Swallow, but that Toad's still there, and I don't like that. So I go Heracross, and I knock it off. I guess I could have close combated it, but I thought he might switch, maybe. You never know. But no, I definitely made the wrong choice there. So because it lives, and he knocks off my Flame Orb. Not a good start, obviously. But either way, it is what it is. So then he goes Cincino. I close combat, but it's sashed. I thought it'd be like scarfed or something, but it is sashed. So it'll live this with the sash, and then it'll finish Heracross off next turn. And it's not really that big of a loss. I mean, I would have liked to have Heracross for that Tyrantrum, but is what it is. So now I go Malamar, because I'm thinking, okay, easy boost, right? But the problem is he has two U-turners that are still very much a threat, Flygon and Crobat. Now, he actually goes Flygon. Flygon isn't what I'm worried about, because I know that's scarfed, but that Crobat is likely banded. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but having Malamar tank two superpowers is just a little much. Or not superpowers, two U-turns. But either way, it is what it is. So Malamar loses here because of the 4x weakness. And then I believe he switches to Flygon again. And I think I go... okay, so I go Swallow, hoping it'll outspeed, but since it's Scarfed, that's not going to happen. So it dies easily. Then I go Metagross, I Bullet Punch it, and I think it dies. But it's really not a big deal because he has Seismitoad. Oh no, I Meteor Mash, okay. I'm seeing that's the drawback of having Scarf, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he has Seismitoad, who cares? Now he goes Tyrantrum actually, but it's Scarfed. And it might even outspeed it anyway, I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't matter. It's, yeah, if I could have gotten that Meteor Mash off, it would have killed it, but yeah. Could I have switched to Toad, then go back to side? I mean, either way I played it, it was going to be a tough win because of that size. If I could have gotten rid of that Seismitoad, things could have gotten interesting. Now I could have Stealth Rocked here to kill that Cincino. Maybe Seismitoad could have pulled a miracle, but it killing Crobat and Toad would have been highly unlikely, I feel like, but it would have given me probably a better chance. But it's no, I don't think it's a big deal, to be honest. I mean, that would have been a pretty major upset if a tank's gonna 3-0 his whole team. But either way, so next match is an Aerodactyl lead, so I go for the Scald hoping for a taunt right off. He did not taunt, he Stealth Rocked, which is a bummer. So now I go Stealth Rock because, hey, maybe he'll do something weird. Nope, he taunts. It's like, aren't you supposed to taunt first to stop my Stealth Rock? Either way, whatever. So anyway, the Aerodactyl dies, whatever. Then he switches to Goodra, I think. So I switch to my best special attack tank, which is Tentacruel. Though it's really not. I'd love to get something better, I mean, with the way my team works, it's kind of hard to really figure out what would fit better. But I mean, there's Goodra, there's Blissey, there's Sylveon, there's you name it. But I feel like Tenta, as far as controlling rocks and being able to tank at least some kind of special attack, it kind of fits there. But either way, so now he goes Hone Edge. I try to Scald Burn it. I think he Sword Dances. So I switch to I think I switched to Toad, and I think he takes out Toad pretty easily. I think I do get Rocks off though. Yeah, I get Rocks off, which is good. I could have Earthquaked it, but I don't think it would have done much since it has Eviolite. So I feel like Rocks was at least something that'll help me out pretty significantly, since he doesn't have any form of defog really. So I try to get off an Earth Power here, but it doesn't happen. So now I go Swallow because I know his priority isn't going to work on Swallow. So I go for a Heat Wave, but I think he switches to Goodra. Yeah, so he switches to Goodra. So now I am going to switch to, do I go back to Tentacruel? I think I do. Yeah, I go back to Tentacruel and I Rapid Spin his Rocks off, which is pretty nice. I mean, Tentacruel might not be the best special defense wall there is, but it did the job here. Yeah, and he bulldozed, which might have been the better move. I mean, he was clearly predicting Tentacruel, but Tentacruel is still tanky enough to deal with it. See, look at that, 2%. It's like, woo. Anyway, so he finishes his tentacle off, but I get rocks off. Now I believe I go Heracross. After taking a year to make up my mind. And I was debating it because I wasn't sure, like, you know, you gotta be careful. I go Malamar. So I go Malamar because I want to knock off whatever he has on. I don't know if it's an AV or something. It's probably an AV. But, so he goes Quagsire. Quagsire basically neuters. Oh, I didn't go knock. I went Superpower. But anyway, Quagsire basically neuters Malamar. So that's kind of a checkmate on that front. So until Quagsire dies. But anyway, so whatever status comes in, I go Heracross, which is a good move. And now I knock it off and see if he has a Rocky Helm on, whatever. He recovers. So I switch here because I know he's going to recover again because he's just going to try and stall Heracross out because he knows that I can't kill it. So I believe I go Swallow here. There's the recover. So now, remember, since, let's see, I think I Boom Burst. Oh no, he goes Aegislash. So I U-turn, right? I U-turn because I predicted the Aegislash, Dual Blade, whatever. And I go to Heracross, and I believe I knock off its Eviolite, but it doesn't kill it because of the Eviolite. And I believe it Shadow Sneaks me, or no, I just burn death. And yeah, Metagross makes a lot of sense. Because I can just bullet punch it. Can I be able to? Oh, that was actually. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking I didn't think about Shadow Sneak there, but he didn't use it because I probably didn't think it would kill. I didn't want him to switch either though. But yeah, I guess that works. I actually thought about that just now after. Days after the match, thinking maybe I should have bullet punched there just in case of a Shadow Snake, but Pursuit works, right? So anyway, so I go Swallow, he goes Quagsire, I Boom Burst, he switches. Oh no, he doesn't switch. So, but it lives just barely. Big surprise. Then I go Malamar because this is an obvious choice considering how much of a threat Quagsire is to it. So Malamar gets its boost, but he, I believe, goes Swallow. No, he goes Heracross, okay. So, and that's a good move because I can't use Superpower on this, but I can use Psycho Cut. It is enough to kill it, but it takes pretty big damage at the same time. Yeah. So it takes big damage, but it does kill. And then he goes Swallow and finishes it off. I was debating Superpower, but it didn't matter. Then, now here's where it gets a little surprising. I didn't think Metagross would sweep this, but it did. See, that's the problem with specs on Swallow is that now you can't use Heat Wave. He probably should. In fact, you know what? He probably should not have Boom Bursted Malamar. He probably should have Heat Waved it because I think it would have been enough to kill. And then he could have finished off Metagross. But and then the breaks. So now we got an Amistar lead. So I am going to rock first. And then he actually switches for some odd reason. I'm not sure what the point is of that. I guess he just wanted to get rocks off on Fortress. I don't know. So I switched to Tentacruel because I'm predicting him stealth rocking, and I don't want him to be able to do it that easily. So he stealth rocks, I rapid spin, yada yada yada. We're gonna repeat this. So okay, so he volt switches there. He brings in, I think he brings in Almastar. Yeah. Oh no, he brings in Snorlax. Okay. So I switch, I believe. Yeah, I switched to I switched to Toad because I'm not sure exactly what Snorlax set this was, but it ends up being a Curselax. So once I find out it's a Curselax, I go to Metagross. But you'll see that in just a second here once I make up my mind on what I'm going to do. So there's so there's the Body Slam initially. I'm still at this point. I'm still not sure what set it is. It's like, okay, Body Slam. It could still be AV, whatever. But I actually take a big risk here, I think, and switch to Metagross. I'm guessing Curselax. Now I could have gone Malamar too, but I didn't want it to get paralyzed. You know, so I decided to take the safer route and go Metagross. Because I don't want it to get paralyzed either, but I feel like I can deal with it a little better since it's basically instant offense. So I'm Meteor Mashing, hoping to get some attack boosts to offset his curses. Now, you'll see a couple times I come pretty close to killing it. Like, there's the first time. I still haven't gotten an attack boost. Now, right here, okay, not there. So he gets off a Body Slam. Luckily, it doesn't paralyze me. Then I Meteor Mash again. He Quick Claws. That really, I was like, oh great. If he gets a lot of Quick Claw procs, I could be in trouble. Especially with Curse going off all the time. Now there's the first attack boost. That's huge. So then I go again. I barely miss killing him. Of course he wakes up. And he rests, obviously. So I'm like, oh man, I was that close. So then I Meteor Mash again. A no boost. He sleep talks, but curses again. What are we gonna do? So then I Meteor Mash again. I mean, it's not like I have a choice. I'm banded, but still. So then I get another boost, which again, that's huge. Of course, he wakes up. Oh no, he doesn't wake up. He rests and he fails, and then he Quick Claws. Of course, he wakes up and rests. It's like, is this ever gonna end at this point? So then I Meteor Mash again, then I do it again, and then at this point I'm thinking, oh, he's going to Quick Claw and wake up again. You know, especially after the curse, right? I mean, of course he's going to Quick Claw and wake up, right? And that's what's happened every other time. But no, he didn't have, nope, not that time. I got him. So, after the war of attrition finally ended, with me getting 2 boosts, but he offsets that with Fortress. So I switch to Tenta, thinking, okay, here we go again with Rapid Spin. So he does indeed Stealth Rock, so I Rapid Spin. Then he actually uses Spikes instead of Volt switching, so I just Rapid Spin again. I mean, it makes no difference to me. I can do this all day. It's like, if you want to keep wasting time, fine. You're not getting rocks off. So then he Volt switches. And I think he brings there. Okay, here he brings an Omastar. Now, if you didn't notice before, I have Giga Drain on this Tenta. So guess what happens? Boom. I don't know what his plan was, but I'm sure it wasn't that. And it's like, well, a lot of people would say, why would you get Giga Drain on a Tentacruel? It's like, well, there really isn't any need for knockoff on this tier because there's some Eviolites, but there's not a ton. Chansey is one of the main reasons I would have had Eviolite before, or knockoff before for those Eviolites, but Chansey's not here, so I don't see the need. So I was like, hey, let's get Giga Drain. And then after that, he's basically over. So now I got a Exodio lead, which totally neutralizes Seismitoad in every way, just about. I mean, everything I want to do, it stops for the most part. So I switch to, I think I go Because I'm thinking of all the possible sets Xadu could be. So I go Malamar because I was thinking, well, maybe he'll use a psychic move or whatever. I don't know. So I go Malamar. He actually uses screens. So I was like, well, okay. So I decided to knock off just to see what his plan is. So he switches to Crobat. That's, not a bad move for me. I was expecting a better item than that to come off, but hey. So I know he's going to U-turn, so I go back to Toad. Eventually. Okay, so then he switches in Xadu again, because that's the common sense move. I mean, like I said, Toad is useless against Xadu. I guess you could go a physical set with knockoff, but physical set just doesn't really get it done, in my opinion, but whatever. So I go Metagross hoping that it doesn't have Mystical Fire, because I don't think, if it has Screams, it's probably not going to, and Wish, it's probably not going to have Mystical Fire. So I'm pretty safe, and then I Pursuit Trap it. It doesn't kill it, but it takes a nice chunk. Then he goes Rotom Heat. I go to Toad, because Rotom Heat has nothing that can beat Toad. So, again, pretty obvious move in all honesty. Now he tricks, though. That was a really nice move, actually. I didn't expect that, but I really should have, probably, to be honest. But when I usually think of Rotom Heat, I think of a tank. I don't usually think of a Scarf, but hey. I guess offensive sets I'm going to have to get used to. So here, I thought this Lanoon was Belly Drum. So I did not expect a Seed Bomb to come. I was just hoping to do some damage and maybe, well, there's the burn. But I was hoping to stop that Belly Drum. But hey, I'll take it. So I switch because I know Seed Bomb's going to kill it. Toad, that is. So I go Metagross because I don't think it can really do much to it. And looking at his team, I don't see too much that, actually his team neutralizes Metagross pretty good right now with Rotom Heat and Crobat. So kind of a tough deal there. So I thought he was going to switch to Rotom Heat though, so I went to Swallow preparing for a Boom Burst. He did not switch though for some reason. I'll never understand that. Rotom Heat was the obvious choice, but whatever. So now he goes Machamp, which I believe is Assault Vested. Now I wasn't sure at first if it was, I thought it might be Guts. I wasn't 100% sure, so I switched just in case. He's Dynamic Punch, which turns out to be the right move because that means it's obviously vested, which would have ended Swallow. So anyway, Toad dies. I go Tenta because I feel like at least Tenta can take it somewhat. I Scald here. He switches because he doesn't want to get burned because again, it's not Guts. Medicine gets burned, which is just as good. Now I think I stay in. I think I stay in on this to see how much damage Medicham will do. Because with a burn, it's really not that concerning. But because it basically takes away its pure power. So yeah, Zen Headbutt still does decent damage, but it didn't kill like it would have normally. Now I probably should have went Malamar here because he's likely Scarfed, and it would have forced a switch, and I could have gotten like a superpower off or something. But he probably would have just went Crobat anyway, so it's really not a big deal, I guess. But yeah, I really probably should have went Malamar there, to be honest, and I could have at least used knockoff or something. I don't know. Or maybe Psycho cut the Crobat. It's whatever, right? But anyway, so he goes Rotom Heat. Obvious. I switch to Tenta and Sackett, I think. Yeah, so Tenta dies. Now I go Swallow, I think. He switches. I think he switches to Machamp. No, he goes Crobat. Okay, so I actually don't go Swallow because I'm worried that Crobat's going to outspeed Swallow. More on that later, by the way. You'll see that in a second. But Yeah, that's why I didn't go Swallow, because I thought for sure Crobat would outspeed. Otherwise, I would have done it immediately. But anyway, I think I go Metagross. Yeah, I go Metagross, hoping he won't switch, and then I can just like Meteor Mash him or something. But he U-turns. Of course, he goes Rotom Heat. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Of course, Meteor Mash misses anyway, so would have been a moot point. So I believe I switched to Malamar here. Or do I just let it kill me? I might just let it kill me, actually. Kill Metagross, that is. Yeah, I do. Actually, yeah, I remember this, because over he actually misses twice in a row. If I got a boost from Meteor Mash, this could have gotten interesting. Like, it could have legit almost killed it if I got a boost or two. Didn't happen, but it is what it is. Anyway, so now I go, I think I go Swallow here. I mean, that'd be the obvious choice. I maybe gone, nah. I mean, the problem with Malamar is that Crobat, because U-turn will absolutely destroy it. So I go Boom Burst. It doesn't do half, which is not good for Swallow. So, I have to switch because I can't afford to lose Swallow because it's the only thing that outspeeds Rotom Heat. So, and it's the only thing that even stands a chance against Crobat. So, Swallow has to live, period. Otherwise, you might as well just forfeit. So he goes Crobat to tank the superpower. Big surprise. I probably should have Psycho Cutted. I get it, whatever. but whatever. So Malamar dies. I'm going to start Psycho Cutting there even without a boost, just to say, hey, I'm aware. So now, this is where the hacks come in, guys. So I obviously have no choice but to boom burst here on Swallow. I don't think it's going to kill the Machamp just by I forgot about Heracross. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. So Heracross gets nuked by Crobat, so I don't really think it's worthy of mentioning, but hey, it does indeed get nuked by Crobat. So, and I just let it die because I can't afford to lose, I just can't afford to lose Swallow here. So, after deciding whether or not I should Facade or knock off, that happened. So I go Swallow. Now, I don't think I'm going to outspeed, but I actually do, which shocked me. I was like, what? So that's shocker number one. Now, here's shocker number two. So I Boom Burst. It kills it. I was like, what? So it crits. So now it's like, wow, I could actually win. So now he brings in Rotom Heat. I wasn't sure if it would kill it or not. It does. And now, watch the chat at the bottom right, because I feel bad for the guy. I really do. So he actually, I cut it out, I'm sorry. He's like, play the lottery. I'm like, dude, I'm shocked too, man. Anyway, now we're on to T2. So he leads off with a Mold Breaker Sash, Garchomp. I was thinking he might Stealth Rock. He does not, which probably wasn't a good idea. I would have probably just used rocks in that case if you're going to stay in, but that's your call, I guess. So I finished this off, but I was thinking he might switch. So I was wondering if I should Earthquake or do something else. But whatever. I'd go with the Earthquake. Now I go Superior. I switched to one of my mini. Actually, I have quite a few Superior tanks. I don't know why he even went into it with Heat Train and Clefable. And what's the point? I guess Clefable could be Magic Guard, but it's not. It's unaware. So nothing Superior can do really, other than hope I'm stupid and don't heal or whatever. But either way, even then, Heat Train just totally sits on it. So he switches to Azumarill, which is obvious. I go for a burn. Did not get it. I switch to Ferrothorn. And I think he does Liquidation. I'm thinking he might superpower. That's why I'm taking so long to switch, but he doesn't. Oh, he actually switched. Okay, so he goes Swallow, and I protect to scout for the Heat Wave. So I go Heatran, but he double switches, predicting the switch, and goes back to Azumarill. Like, okay, whatever. So then I go back to Ferrothorn. And then I don't think this time I think he actually does do liquidation rather than switch. I think he actually does. Yeah, or waterfalls, whatever. So then I get Stealth Rock up. Or do I Leech Seed? No, I Stealth Rock. So then he goes Superior because he feels like this is an easy setup opportunity. And normally he'd be right. It would be an easy setup op. But I have a Heatran, so who cares? And really, the Air Balloon meant nothing in this match because he has like 0 ground types after Escadrille died. So really not a big loss there. Anyway, so Superior gets poisoned because I thought he'd switch to Azu. Maybe I should have went ahead and Lava Plume, but hey, guess what? I got the burn anyway. Doesn't matter. But Toxic's a big deal to me there because if it lived the Lava Plume, which it might, he can't do any sub-Leech Seed antics without, taking big damage anyway. Heatran takes down the Azu because it lowered it, so it was lowered enough after all the switch-ins. And he goes Gengar. I let Gengar kill me. Because basically the job was, I don't really need Heatran to beat Superior. So I have Clefable, like I said. He's probably thinking, oh boy, I got him now. His Heatran's dead. And I still have Superior. Well, unfortunately for him, I have a Clefable. So it really isn't a big deal. But anyway, for this, I think I go Scizor. Because I'm thinking I could potentially set up. And that is exactly what I go for. He does Shadow Ball, which does decent damage. But now I Bullet Punch. The unfortunate part is, while it sounds great on paper, it's not so good when it curse bodies. But anyway, it just means I gotta switch. So he goes Superior because, again, obvious setup op with no Bullet Punch. So I think I hard switch Clefable here, which might not have been the best move. It might have been good to be more conservative here. I'm thinking about Ferrothorn, but I just say let's go hard Clefable. But he actually hit him Powers, which was like the worst possible move he could have done. Like, I get he wanted to kill Scizor, but he had to know I was going to switch. He had to. He had to know. I guess I could have superpowered on Scizor, but come on, man. I ain't doing that. So since he understands that Clefable's unaware, he switches, puts his Bisharp in and gets nuked. So now he switches again to Swallow. It gets nuked. Oh no, I actually switched because I was worried about Iron Head. So I go Pharaoh. Now I know he's going to Heat Wave, but I think... Do I let him do it? Or do I switch to Latias? I switched to Latias. No, I do. Okay, I make sure he's going to Heat Wave, then I switch to Latias. Yeah. Now, right here, I'm concerned about that Bisharp. But I say, okay, I'll just go ahead and fire. I think I HP fire. Yeah, and it is actually enough to kill it. Which surprised. I'm like, wow, okay. I didn't think it'd be enough, but cool. So now he goes Bisharp, and I thought he was going to Sucker Punch me, but I decided I'll just stay in and recover. But he Sword Dances of all things, because I was trying to scout for that Sucker Punch. But since he didn't, I actually switched to Pharaoh because I know it's going to die. Then he Sucker Punches. So it's like, whatever, I don't care because Bisharp dies, instant Ferrothorn dies. You can Sword Dance till you're blue in the face. It doesn't matter. But instead of killing himself, I kill him instead with Leech Seed. Then he goes Superior. I let him kill Ferrothorn because there was no reason to take any risks when you have a Clefable. So, of course, I don't know why I'm checking my team. There's really no need. But, I gotta be methodical. It's like, oh no, I want to find a way to have Ferrothorn live, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's Superior. Okay, I actually do switch to Latios. I do things the hard way, guys. I really do. It's like, there was no need to do that, but I did anyway. Anyway, so that was that. So, next match is a Metacham lead, which is obviously Scarf, so it has Ice Punch, so I have to switch. So I go Ferrothorn. Someday. I'm worried he might be predicting it and go like Fire Punch or High Jump Kick or something, but no, he goes Ice Punch. So anyway, I Stealth Rock here, because I know he's either going to switch or do it again, whichever. So he switches. I stay in on Ferrothorn because I'm expecting a Rapid Spin, and I want that Tentacool to pay for it. So, but he Toxic Spikes, actually, which is a pretty good move, honestly. Then I power up again, hoping to bait him into that Rapid Spin. Still hasn't done it. And then the third turn here, he finally Rapid Spins. So, it's like, okay, mission accomplished. Now, I Stealth Rock again, knowing if he wants to keep rocks off, his Tentacool is going to die. So, but he brings in Darmanitan, which is fine with me, because I know it's going to be Scarfed or Banded, so all I have to do is figure out which move it's going to use and then counter it. So he goes Earthquake, so I switch to Latios, or Latio, sorry. Someday I'll switch, don't worry. I don't know why I'm thinking Heatran. I mean, I guess I could have gone Heatran, but he actually predicts it and goes Metacham. But now, so that means I have to switch again, because I know he's going to Ice Punch again. So I go back to Ferrothorn. If it's gonna die, it's gonna take something with it, and we'll do some damage at the bare minimum. So anyway, then I go Scizor, and I think I try to set up here, knowing I can tank an Ice Punch. I think I set up, or do I just Bullet Punch? Yeah, I just Bullet. Okay, so I just Bullet Punch. More than likely, because I know he has some tanks for Scizor. He has Volcarona, he has Darmanitan somewhat, he has Tentacruel. Well, Tentacruel would have died, but it's not a walk in the park for Scizor yet, so I decided to play it safe. Anyway, so I go Heatran, predicting something along the lines of Earthquake or Flare Blitz, which I'm immune to for now. So now he has to switch, because I know it's locked in. So I think I go Earth Power, and he goes, oh no, I Toxic, okay. Yeah, because that was a good move, because Tenta would have likely died to Earth Power next turn anyway if it switched, so that makes sense. Anyway, so I think I go ahead and switch to Clefable, yeah, because Clefable is kind of useless here. There isn't really much it can do except wall Volcarona, and I have Heatran to do that, so I don't really need Clefable that much. So if I'm going to sack anything, it's got to be that. I think it switches. Yeah, he switches to Tenta, which is fine. It dies, so that's cool. Then he goes... Okay, he goes Diggers, which is probably the right move here. I thought Clefable might be able to tank one shot from it, but it does not. I'm thinking it's probably banded. either way, so I lose Clefable. So now I switch to. This is where I switch to Scizor. This is where I switch to Scizor because I have Rocks up. Volcarona will take half damage. Darmanitan's weak. Tentacruel's dead. So it looks like an easy. Oh no, I go Garchomp. Okay, I thought I went Scizor. Sorry. Well, that's because I wasn't sure if it was banded or not. Okay. And it was not, as you can see. So it was actually a good move not to go Scizor there, because it would have taken some pretty big damage. So Diggersby dies, killing Garchomp. Now, I think I go Latios. And see, right now, I'm not sure. See, no one knows who's going to bring in who because it's one of those kind of deals where it's just kind of random. So it's kind of a luck-based matchup here. So I go Scizor, and he goes... I think he goes Medicham. Okay. Yeah, he goes Medicham, so do I Bullet Punch? No, I think I Sword Dance here, I'm assuming I can tank whatever he has, and I barely did. And I was really careless there, to be honest. He could have easily Fire Punched me. Easily. But I think he was worried about Heatran coming in. So he decided to go high Jump Kick. And so I Sword Danced. He brings in Volcarona, and I thought I had it dead. I thought it was dead. But that thing lives with 1 HP left. Unfortunately. If that thing dies, the match is over right there and then and there. But yes, it did indeed live. So, after that, I believe I go Heatran. Or do I go Latios? No, Heatran. So, you're going to see, so you saw that air balloon I've mentioned. So he actually has HP ground, but apparently he didn't notice it. But, okay, so he's roosting. Wait a minute. No, I don't think he has HP ground, actually. I don't think he does. He has Roost, Fiery Dance, and yeah. He has Roost, Fiery Dance, Quiver Dance, and probably Giga Drain, maybe. I can't remember. Whatever. Either way, Heatran had it totally countered, so it's whatever. Ozzy is basically the only chance he has of winning, really. I mean, really, he doesn't have a chance. So, yeah. So their Azu kills Heatran, but with Rocks up, that Volcarona is really not that big of a threat. Azu dies to poison. He has Darmanitan left. Darmanitan actually is scary because I assume if it's a U-turn, if it's Scarfed U-turn, maybe. If this Volcarona had Bug Buzz, maybe. But the Volcarona is likely a tanky type build, so it didn't have full speed, so it dies to Latios. Darmanitan is indeed Scarf because it goes faster than Latios, but it does not. It almost killed me. Whew. But it did not. If it U-turned, I think it would have. For some reason, it did not. And that was that. Oh boy. Anyway, so now I got a Mammothwine lead, so I got to switch to Ferrothorn. If you haven't noticed, this is kind of a trend. Ferrothorn's kind of my ace in the hole for a lot of these. But anyway, so he gets off Rocks. I use Leech Seed because I was thinking about that. I actually should have Stealth Rocked. Leech was actually not the right move there. I should have Stealth Rocked, but I get it off. So, but a turn too late because that Volcarona comes in. But just like Serperior, I have a plethora of Volcarona counters. So it's really not a concern to me. So he Quiver Dances. I don't care, really. I believe I Toxic. Yep. So he HP. Now this is the guy with the Hidden Power Ground, but he didn't see my air balloon apparently. So I Lava Plume here, he fiery dances, which apparently forgot he trans flash fire, so it takes pretty big damage from Lava Plume. And I think he switches at this point. He does. He goes Azu. So Azu unfortunately doesn't get burned, but it takes some pretty nice damage. And I switch to, once again, Ferrothorn. And I think he liquidates. Yep. And it does good damage, but it also lowers my defense, so one more will kill me. But he's going to die too, luckily. So that's his call, I guess. So that's an eye for an eye right there. Wall breaker dead. Wall dead. So now, I believe I switched to Latios. I think I switched to Latios. Now I go Scizor. So I go Scizor. He goes Ferrothorn, which is perfect for Scizor. I can easily set up on that. So I Sword Dance. I believe he knocks off. Yep. So now I Superpower to get this thing out of the way. Then, I think he goes Mammo here. But Mammo doesn't really stand a chance at living this. No, he goes Volk. Okay, but Volk gets wrecked by Stealth Rock, so who cares? Luckily, I don't burn to Flame Body. That's always one of those things that annoys me, is getting burned. Now he goes Mammo. Mammo dies. At this point, it's basically over. The only thing left that can live Bullet Punch. I thought Latios might be able to, but it turns out it could not either. So the only thing that lives it is Garchomp. So yeah. And then Garchomp finishes Scizor off, but pretty nice. But I kind of got lucky switching in Scizor because he could have easily gone Volcarona, and my plan would have been like, oh crap. Well, actually, no, because Stealth Rock was up, and he already, okay, never mind. Yeah, so Volcarona would have still died anyway, but he could have gotten something else, like Garchomp off the bat, and then my plan would have failed. So, Ferrothorn was definitely lucky there. Of course, if he put in Volcarona, I wouldn't have been able to Sword Dance, but still. Anyway, so I go to Latios, and I don't risk a Draco Meteor miss, so I just finished off a Psychic, and that's that. Now we got now this guy, I hate Garchomp leads against mine because I never know who's going to be faster. So, I decide not to risk it, especially since he has an Azu on his team. So I go ahead and switch to Pharaoh. I do some nice damage with Recoil, or Rocky Helm, whatever. I protect to see if he has a fire move. He does. So, since it's not like locked in, it's obviously not scarfed or anything like that, I just kind of say, okay, we'll just go Clefable. I could have potentially lived that Fire Fang, but there's no need to tank to deal with anything like that, especially when he has a whole bunch of Mons that Pharaoh needs to counter. So I figured let's just go Clefable, see what happens. So he goes Victini. Victini is a serious threat. I never like dealing with Victinis. I know they're always scarfed or banded. They're kind of like Darmanitan, but they are absurdly hard to predict. And yeah, I mean, I have some ways to beat them, but I've got to be like perfect. I should have went Pharaoh there. I could have at least done some recoil, but oh well. You never know what's coming. It's really hard to tell what people are going to do until it's too late. Anyway, so he goes Azu. I switch to Pharaoh here. And I might be getting too predictable at this point because I've done this like every match for Azu. But anyway, I mean, it's still working, right? Come on. So, I mean, eventually people are going to probably catch on and you start using Superpower or something. But hey, Yep, so Pharaoh dies to superpower, so there it is, right? Either way, so Pharaoh dies. I believe I switch, and that Pharaoh dying there is actually big because that really helps me to predict Victini, so I know which mon to go to. Heatran for V-Create, whatever. Garchomp for Bolt Strike. But anyway, it is what it is. So at this point, I'm not sure if Garchomp can kill it with Earthquake, but I decide I don't have much of a choice, so I go for it. I think I go for it. No, he goes Rotom. Yeah, so he apparently didn't think he could live in Earthquake. So he switches to Rotom. I switch to something that can tank Will-O-Wisp. That being Latios, that's my best bet. And so if you didn't notice, he has a Bisharp and an Azu, which totally walled the Latios combo of Draco and Psychic. So I have to really be careful here, but luckily he doesn't switch and he tanks the Draco. Now I believe, I was expecting him to go Bisharp here to kind of Pursuit Trap it or Sucker Punch at something, but he did not. He went Gengar. So I actually switched to Heatran because Heatran's basically my best special def tank. So now that's actually pretty good damage against Heatran. So I mean, mine's not calm or anything, but it's usually can tank a few. But anyway, so yeah, Gengar's obviously going to beat Heatran. And then I go Scizor, hoping I can get a setup off. That's my goal, to get a setup off and then hopefully do enough damage to where I can, enough chip damage that is, to stop him. So I Sword Dance, he goes Rotom, which is perfect. So I finished that off. Now he goes Victini. Unfortunately, Victini, now if I had like some chip damage or something up from a Ferrothorn, Rocky Helming it or whatever, I might have been able to beat this. But it's just not going to cut it against the fire type. So Victini scorches, and also I didn't have Heatran to absorb the V-Create that was obviously coming, so not a whole lot I can do there. So I go Garchomp, and I know he's going to switch because he needs Victini. So I Sword Dance, predicting the switch. Now here's where it gets interesting. So I'm debating it first, but obviously Sword Dance is the right move. Now here's where I'm like, oh no, this Garchomp matchup, who's going to be faster? But it turns out I am faster. So at this point I'm like, okay, we might have a shot here. So now he goes Gengar. I did not expect Destiny Bond there. Like, yes, that was a smart move in that situation. I did not expect it. I thought maybe Icy Wind or something. But that was a really smart move because if I Sword Danced there, it would have blown up in the guy's face. But the instant I Sword Dance, that's when Icy Wind comes usually. So there's really no way to get that right, to be honest. So now the Victini is, I believe, Scarfed, so it blows away Latios. And then and it wouldn't have really mattered. I mean, he has so many counters for Latios, it's not even funny, really. So, I mean, maybe if I got rid of the Bisharp, I could have taken down the Alzu, but yeah, it's not a good situation. And that was that. Okay, now we got an Infernape lead. So this guy's team is not good. I mean, all you have to do is look at it and you can tell it's not good. I mean, the guy has all fire types except for Gastrodon. So this is basically like easy money for Garchomp. So I take out the suicide lead. Then I believe he goes Arcanine. Now Garchomp would have probably swept this team if I had any kind of luck. But unfortunately, luck is not something that usually comes my way very much. So I think I do get a Sword Dance off. I can't remember 100%. No, I don't. Never mind. I don't Sword Dance. I was trying to Sword Dance, but instead I just hit myself in confusion over and over again. And that's kind of how I die. Oh, well, I was taunted anyway, so I didn't even pay attention to that. But anyway, so I try to not die to confusion and whatever, but it's looking at his team. Not only would Garchomp have swept if it didn't get confused, but so does Heatran, and you're about to find out why. So Heatran, all the guy has for Heatran is Gastrodon. Otherwise, there is literally nothing he can do against it. Literally nothing. So I go Toxic, it misses, which just prolongs the inevitable, which is always fun. So I switch to Ferrothorn to get rocks up, which makes things incredibly easy. He goes Charizard, but remember I have a Heatran, so you can go whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you have all fire types minus with the exception of a Gastrodon, you're going to lose to Heatran. I mean, it's going to happen. So I actually do protect on Ferrothorn first, just to see if he wasn't like some weird set, like maybe he has Earthquake, but since he Fire Blasted, I assumed he wasn't. So I went Heatran. And then I Toxic. I think it misses again. Yep, it missed again. Actually, no, never mind. Arcanine just dies. So now he goes, I think he goes back to Gastrodon now. Oh no, he goes his own Heatran. So I Earth Power. This is actually the riskiest battle in the whole entire match, but he Magma Storms for some reason. He could have Earth Powered, but wouldn't have mattered because I have an Air Balloon. But if he could have like done some kind of damage, then maybe. But nope. Anyway, so then he goes Torkoal. Torkoal's just there to get Sun back up for whatever reason. Then he goes Charizard. And I Toxic it. It dies to Poison. Eventually, well, yep, there it is. So then he goes Gastrodon again. This guy really just kind of beat himself with rocks and Toxic and random stuff. But either way, it is what it is. So I go back to Ferrothorn. He Earthquakes, whatever, I don't care. He goes back to his Torkoal. Then I go back to Heatran. I mean, it's like there's literally nothing he can do. So then I think he finally just accepts the fact that he can't beat Heatran. So I think he just lets it die, the Torkoal. I'm not sure 100%. No, he goes back to Gastrodon. So now I think I'm just kind of fed up. It's like, this is taking way too long, so I just let it kill me. Actually, I might have thought I could just flat out kill it anyway. But no, I couldn't quite do it. Anyway, so now I go Latios, and it finishes the job up. And that is that. And I think that is it for the Saturday tier. I do have Sunday's T1 and T2 recorded, so I will post that in just a little bit. Maybe it might be tomorrow. I don't know exactly. But